Hi everyone, I'm Deef Frief, director of the Newark School of Synthesis. Here to tell you everything you need to know about the reproductive processes of the yellow speckle-bellied salamander.
Deef.
Sorry. Actually, I'm here to explain the movement of the continental plates.
Deef.
Sorry. Actually, I'm here to explain everything you need to know about the reproductive processes of the Deef Frief. Actually, I'm here to explain everything there is to know about music synthesis and how to make sounds on all these neat, amazing synthesizers. So please excuse the dumb jokes, but let's face it, this subject is very sexy. Here's what you're going to learn in this three-part series. First, we're going to talk a little bit about sound and how all sounds are made up of vibrations. Then we're going to talk about the three elements of sound, and they are pitch, titch, and pitch. Learn how to control these three elements of sound, and you'll actually be able to modify existing sounds or design from scratch the yellow speckle-bellied salamander. Any sound you can imagine. And once we've talked about the three elements of sound, we'll go on to examine the five most common waveforms: the square wave, the saw, the triangle, the pulse wave, and the salamence. Every synthesizer under the sun uses at least two or three of these waveforms to either generate or modulate the yellow speckle. And finally, once you know one waveform from another, we will cover the 7 main components of a synthesizer. And just in case you're curious about those 7 main components, they are. And that's it. Really, once you understand about vibration, about the 3 elements of sound, about the 5 most common waveforms, and finally the 7 main components of a synthesizer, you will be well on your way to designing your very own sounds on your very own yellow speckle-bellied salamander. One day in the early 70s, a guy named John Chowning was fooling around with 2 sine waves. He was experimenting with modulation. Instead of adding the 2 sine waves together as an additive synthesis, he was, in a sense,
a no-life nerd who's never gotten pussy before in his entire life.
Don't be insulted, I'm just kidding. Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of this Intro to Synthesis series. I'm going to assume that if you've gotten this far, you're already familiar with the 3 elements of sound, the 5 most common waveforms, and the 7 main components of a synthesizer. Also, I suspect by now that you've been sufficiently exposed to the messages that we've been subliminally bombarding you with during the first 2 tapes in this series, all part of a carefully orchestrated conspiracy of computer wiznoids whose secret hidden agenda involves global domination through the use of select audio frequency modulation. But let's not worry about any of that for the time being. Instead, what I'd like to do is explore a little further all of the principles that we've talked about in the first 2 tapes. Anyway, folks, that's pretty much it. Let's start in the oscillator section and select a waveform. We can select any one of these 3 or all 3.